Dr. Rodman with Sports Chiropractic. Today we're going to be talking about the iron neck. So besides looking like Dr. Emmett Brown from Back to the Future with this thing on, I love it. And to take you back, basically a couple weeks ago, I was just on the internet and surfing around and I came across this in an ad and it just immediately caught my eye. So I did some research on it and therapeutically wise in our office, we're limited a little bit on neck exercises. If you think about it in your life, unless you're maybe a wrestler or something like that, you probably haven't trained your neck very much. It's usually an afterthought, kind of there with the foot. We don't really exercise it that much, but we use it every day to carry our heads around. And a lot of people have neck pain, headaches from their heads being really far forward, really tight here, and really weak in the back of the neck. So we definitely need to do more neck strengthening, especially with the tech neck type era that we're in. So this thing really caught my eye. And traditionally in the past, we've used a lot of things like, push your head on the back of the headrest in the car. We have like towels where you can push your head into, or a ball we push on the wall, or even TheraBands. But those are all good for isometrics where you're pushing and holding a contraction, but they're really not that great for eccentric, concentric, like contracting with movement and rotation, which is one of the special things that this does. So let me take you a little closer here and show you some of the ins and outs of this. Basically, this goes around your skull, we'll show you in a second, and it inflates, and you have this pump button here, like the old pump sneakers, that fills up so it can actually fit comfortably to your head. And it can attach, as you see here, you have a bungee cord. The furthest out you get, they say, is about 50 pounds of force onto that area. So, the great thing about this is, if you're training maybe a football player or a wrestler, or UFC, MMA, you might want to get this far out and get the 50 pounds of load, or you can even attach it to the cable machine if you have someone with a really strong neck, which is very cool about this. But say you're getting someone who was in an auto accident, an elderly person with a weak neck, you can move in here and it's a really light load. So don't let this scare you. It's really not a, something that's going to injure you if done appropriately. So that's what's good about this. And if you want, you can lock this. So if you kind of come in here a little bit, we can turn this little wheel. And what it does is it will actually limit the ability of this to swivel or rotate. So that's when you can do your isometric exercises. Or if you want, the really cool thing about this is you can unlock it and swivel. So let's go ahead and put it on here. And first I'm gonna lock it in and show you how kind of easy it is to put on. One more bad thing is if you're having a really good hair day like me today, now it might be a little ruined, but no, I'm just kidding. My hair doesn't always look that cool. Let's go ahead and put this in here. All right, so from here, if I want to pump it up, I can. That's going to inflate that bladder in there with air, so it's really nice and tight. And now you can see it's not rotating. I want to get it a little bit here. So what I can do is I can just step out like this, and I can do some protraction exercises if I want to. Actually don't really want to do that. What I do like is turning this around, and this was the first and easiest exercise that I did, was just stand back. And this is a lot harder than it seems. When I first did this, I was thinking, okay, I'm gonna feel my neck, getting very, used, but I actually started to feel it in my mid-back, my lower back, and my glutes, because these muscles back here have to fire to keep me upright because that load is trying to pull me this way. So everything has to pull me back to keep my neck in a good position. So I actually think just standing in that position right there is a really good, easy exercise for somebody to do. Our neck muscles are postural muscles. They need to keep us upright all day. So if you can add, 20 to 50 pounds of load and just stand here with a good head position, when you take this off, it's gonna be very, very easy to do. So that was one of my favorite things that it did, was that. Second thing that I thought of immediately when I got this was we can use this for golfers, tennis players, baseball players, because a lot of people, if you think about it, when they're swinging, say you're swinging a golf club, your head has to stay down and focused while your body rotates away. So a lot of the people that come in here, the tennis players, the golfers that have neck pain, it's because they're rotating and their neck can't resist that rotation, so it gets strained. That's called anti-rotational strength, the ability to keep your head in one position while your body rotates around it. So anti-rotation. So you can actually kind of set this up here, lock it in, and you can simulate like the golf swing. So you can kind of have this force pulling me this way, and I'm going to try to keep my head down while I just kind of rotate there. So this really works on building the strength laterally on this side so that you don't rotate. You could do the same thing on the opposite side too. So that's one of the great things that you can do with this too. That's something you can do with a TheraBand or something as well, but not with as much load as this. But the last thing that really differentiates this is the ability of it to swivel. So, if you look at the Iron Neck, they'll show you, a bunch of the exercises you can do. So I'm not going to go through all of them today, but the great thing is this gives you a full load, and a full range of motion. So I can kind of rotate 360 degrees, and now that's pulling 50 pounds of load there. So I'm strengthening my neck in a very realistic, all three planes of motion. So you can do that. You can do your traditional kind of lateral bends, or what they call the figure eights, where your kind of head is in this way, and you're just kind of going up and down. So strengthening your neck in many different planes of motion, is great. Actually, when you're done with this, you should feel like your neck's a little bit looser, like you have a pump in your neck muscles that I never felt before. So that's my review on the Iron Neck. I do like it a lot. One thing is, it is a little bit pricey. This machine, this one right here, is about $600. So I think if for a clinic, it's good. They do have lesser ones that don't swivel, and they have ones that only swivel and don't stop. So those I think are around half that price or so. That's the only thing. I think it's definitely a great product. A little bit pricey depending on if it's for at-home personal use, but definitely a great thing for neck strengthening, overall core strengthening, and does a lot of things that the traditional neck exercise type things that we'd use in the past can't do. So Dr. Rodman, hope you liked my review of the Iron Neck.